Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening show as usual. And today it is a bit delayed because I was working today. So we have two matches which were taking place today in the Super 8s, and this was the 18th match which happened between Sri Lanka and West Indies. It was totally a one-sided affair where Sri Lanka totally dominated the West Indies, which I'll be talking about. And as far as the 17th match was concerned, this was played between England and New Zealand. Well, New Zealand definitely, I wouldn't say they proved anything of a sort of a threat for England, and England were very comfortable winners with Wright leading the way. First, let me talk about this match between England and New Zealand. This was the first match which was played today at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium, and well, it was the first to bat was England, with New Zealand winning the toss and inserting England in, and England made 148 for 6 of their 20 overs. Now, as far as New Zealand was, I'm sorry about that. New Zealand were the ones who batted first after winning the toss, and they made 148 for 6. Let me tell you, first it was Stephen Finn who actually gave them the breakthrough. Not only the breakthrough, if you look at his figures, he returned best bowling figures by an English bowler in T20 cricket. 4 overs, no maiden, 16 runs and 3 wickets. He bowled superbly, was absolutely on the money, and in fact he first nipped the wicket of Martin Guptill, who was LBW for 5 of 6 balls with 1-4. After that, the next wicket to go was Brendan McCullum, who was caught by Wright of the bowling. In fact, Brendan McCullum also crashed 2 boundaries, but he was caught by Wright of the bowling of Finn for 10, and that made the score for New Zealand 20 for 2. After that, Rob Nicol contributed just 11 runs. Graham Swan actually picking up his wicket in the first over itself when he was introduced. He was gone for 11 of 15 balls, and Kane Williamson, after briefly resisting, stayed there, but Danny Briggs, who actually bowled the first over, in fact Danny Briggs was the man who bowled the first over, and he went for plenty, but well, as far as his wicket taking capacity was concerned, he got the wicket of Kane Williamson, who was caught by Keyswade of the bowling of Briggs for 17, and then Ross Taylor contributed 22 of 23 balls with 2 fours. But New Zealand were really under a lot of pressure. 107 for 5 when Taylor departed, and it was looking like who is the one, because there's no Jacob Oram in the team, so it was just looking like who is going to really make some good runs. But finally it all came in the form of Franklin, who came in and contributed a very good 50 of 33 balls with 4 fours and 2 sixes, which is what helped New Zealand to at least have a score which they could bowl against. They could bowl against England. 148 for 6 is what they finished with. Nathan McCullum also smashed 2 sixes in his brief knock of an unbeaten 16 of just 10 deliveries and 148. As far as the bowling figures, as I said, Stephen Finn absolutely stood out. 4 overs, no maiden, 3 for 16 for him. Danny Briggs was not so impressive, but yes, he had 1 for 36. It was a bit costly. Bresnan was not good at all. He was all over the place. 4 overs, none for 29. Swan bowled well, 1 for 20, and Stuart Broad himself didn't bowl well today. His 4 overs costing him 37 runs, with Franklin also hitting him for 6s. Now, as far as England were concerned, England definitely lost an early wicket. Craig Kisweeter was clean bowled by Vettori. Very good ball from Vettori, which Craig Kisweeter could not keep it away from his stumps, and he was clean bowled for 4. And after that, there were contributions coming from Alex Hales, who made 22 of 15 balls with 3 fours, but Nathan McCullum actually clean bowled him, and that made it 38 for 2. But after that, what followed was completely something that Luke Wright and Ian Morgan, especially Luke Wright, was in smashing form. He started smashing the bowlers to all parts of the field. He took his time, but later on he exploded. He exploded by smashing 2 sixes of the bowling of Nathan McCullum. Tim Southee was hit for a 6. Rob Nicol was smashed for 6s by Luke Wright, and Luke Wright was simply looking pretty aggressive, and he contributed the highest score of 76 runs of just 43 deliveries, 5 fours and an equal number of 6s in that knock of 76. And with that partnership, it yielded almost 89 runs, which almost took England to victory, because it was the 17th over when Morgan, after contributing 30, fell to the bowling of Mills of 31 balls with 1 4 and 1 6, and in the end it was Josh Butler and Barstow just seeing England through to the finish line. 149 for 4 they finished with, and New Zealand are the ones under pressure now because they have lost both the games in the Super 8. They lost against Sri Lanka and now they have lost against England too. So they are under severe pressure. So 149 for 4 was what England's score was. They finished off in 18.5 overs and winning the match by 6 wickets. Now bowling figures, Mills 4 overs 1 for 23. Tim Southee was a bit costly today. Not only a bit costly, he was extremely costly. 2 overs no made and none for 32. Vettori 4 overs bowled very economically for 20 runs and took 1 wicket. Nathan McCullum was economical, 1 for 22. Rob Nicol, he was smashed by Luke Wright to all parts of the field. 3 overs no made and none for 29. Franklin bowled 1 over for 12 runs, and 5 balls bowled by Doug Bracewell, which was a surprise. Probably he was injured, so Doug Bracewell was not used at all, and well, he just bowled the final over where England actually had the winning hit. So England took 2 points, and England will be pretty happy with that effort that they put because at least they have got 1 game under the belt now. Now that was a match which was, as I said, it was totally dominated by England. New Zealand had absolutely no say. First the bowling, Stephen Finn dominated, and then with the bat Luke Wright dominated. And Luke Wright, very justifiably, was given man of the match. Now let's head to the other match, which was the match between host Sri Lanka and West Indies. Now this particular match, one was really waiting for it, and I have to say something here. Now West Indies, as you know, they were into top billing as far as the 2020 World Cup is concerned. But we have seen that West Indies have not lived to the top billing till now. We know that they are a real capable team, but so far I would say West Indies have not really lived up to their billing. It is very high time that West Indies live up to their billing, otherwise it could be too late. But what Sri Lanka did today is Sri Lanka won this match against West Indies by 9 wickets. Sri Lanka totally strangled the West Indies batting. In fact, they all started with West Indies actually batting first. The toss was actually won by West Indies, and they chose to bat. And Johnson, Charles and Gale opened, and Johnson Charles was absolutely struggling against the bowling of Ajantha Mendes, and Ajantha Mendes had his man, as Charles was the first wicket to go, stumped by Sangakarra of the bowling of Ajantha Mendes for 12 of just 21 deliveries, 2 fours. He was really struggling at the crease. And after that, Nuwan Kulasekara produced a slower delivery. The ball came very slow onto the bat, and Gale was completely, I would say, he was really fooled by this delivery, and he was gone. He was caught by Sangakarra, bowled Kulasekara for 2, and that was the big wicket that Sri Lanka wanted, and they were absolutely cock-a-hoop when they got Gale's wicket, and that made the score 16 for 2 in the 6th over. After that, it required Marlon Samuels and Bravo to repair the situation because the score was 16 for 2. So they took their time. They didn't really go for any fancy strokes. They just started nudging singles and twos, and then slowly started opening up with Marlon Samuels and Bravo also hitting some sixes, and both of them contributing. In fact, Marlon Samuels was very classy in his score of 50 of just 35 deliveries, 4 fours and 2 sixes. Bravo complimented him with a score of 40. He was more of a pusher, I would say. He contributed 40 of 34 balls with 4 fours and 2 sixes, and this partnership was a very good partnership because it almost yielded 66 runs, and they took it till the 15th over. But after that, the firepower was missing for West Indies. Kieron Pollard, as I said, he has been a big failure in this particular T20 World Cup, and he was gone. He was another victim. Ajantha Mendes again coming in. He picked up in fact, Ajantha Mendes also picked up the wicket of Kieron Pollard, who was clean bowled for 1. And after that, Andrew Russell with his pyrotechnics, 19 of 14 balls with 1 6 was not out. Darren Sammy was not out on 129. Tremendous bowling by the Sri Lankan bowlers. Absolutely strangulated, I would say, the West Indies batting. They were choked, totally choked. And after losing Gale, the innings never got momentum. Well, definitely Marlon Samuels and Bravo played well, but that was not something. In fact, West Indies wanted more of an effort, and that too against Sri Lanka. But I thought the Sri Lankan bowlers were used well. They bowled superbly. Matthews 4 overs 1 for 31. Kulasekara took that prize wicket 1 for 28. Lasith Malinga 4 overs no made and none for 26. And there was no respite for the West Indies in the sense West Indies never had any respite because all the bowlers bowled well and started really putting the West Indies batsmen under pressure. And Ajanta Mendes, well, he came back after, as you know, after that he has not been playing he didn't play in the last match against New Zealand, but today he returned once again. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 12, his figures. Rangana Herath bowled 2 overs for 16, and Jivanta Mendes 2 overs, no maiden, 1 for 12. So 129 for 5 on the board for West Indies, never looking to be such a target that Sri Lanka, but what was very important was Sri Lanka made mincemeat of the target of 129. In fact, they went to a victory by 9 wickets. 130 for 1 was the final score for Sri Lanka. In the 16th over, the match was over. Now they only lost Tilakatne Dilshan. Tilakatne Dilshan started off in a flash hitting 3 boundaries of the bowling of Fiddle Edwards in the first over itself. The first 3 balls was all put to the boundary, but Tilakatne Dilshan was a victim of Rampal, as he was the only victim for West Indies, as he was caught. Ramadin bowled Rampal for 13 of 9 balls with 3 fours, and after that, well, the 2 stalwarts, Mahela Jayawardene and Sangakarra, absolutely. In fact, Mahela Jayawardene, if you look at his knock, it was splendid. He contributed 65 unbeaten runs of just 49 deliveries, 10 fours and 1 6. And the sedate partner was Sangakarra, who gave him admirable company. He was an unbeaten 39 of 34 balls with 5 fours. And what they did best was Sunil Narine. Well, he went for only 23 runs, but they decided that they never started going for the bowling of Sunil Narine. They really gave him some respect. But as far as the other bowlers were concerned, they went after them. If you look at the bowling figures, Rampal 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 39, had a lot of tap from the Sri Lankan batsmen Jayawardene and Sangakarra. Edwards 2 overs cost him 24. Sunil Narine bowled well, 4 overs, none for 23. Darren Sammy bowled 4 overs for 28 runs. Andre Russell 1 over, no maiden, none for 11. And Chris Gale just bowled 2 balls for 2 runs. The man of the match went to Mahela Jayawardene for once again a wonderful knock. He's looking in some very good touch at the right time. And I can say only one thing here. The thing that I would like to say is Sri Lanka, as I said, just made mincemeat of the target. But for Sri Lanka, everything is going their way. In fact, they have a massive net run rate now. They need not worry about that. In fact, they have been winning the matches, as you know. They have won 2 matches now in the Super 8. And as far as West Indies are concerned, this was their first match. They have lost it. Now, West Indies really need to pull up their socks. As I said, they have not been living up to their top billing. It is very essential that they come into their own now, because otherwise it would be too late for West Indies. So for West Indies, it is going to be again a very tough task for them, and because the run rate is also not really looking good for West Indies. And as far as tomorrow's match is concerned, well, we are all waiting for it. India-Pakistan fans are definitely waiting for it, and well, what a clash that is going to be. But let me tell you that tomorrow is going to be a real tough battle between India and Pakistan. The reason being, I would say it is slightly tilted in favor of Pakistan, for the simple reason that they are looking very good, as you know. But one thing I would like to say here, dear fans, friends and subscribers, India and Pakistan have never beaten India in a T20 World Cup or even in any World Cup. So in any major tournament, India have never lost to Pakistan. But if Pakistan can do it tomorrow to India, well, they would be really proud of it. But whether India can really preserve that record of Pakistan not beating them in any of the major tournaments, whether they can keep their record. So that I mean, that is something that one has to see. But let me tell you, but before that match, we have another great match coming up, and that match is between Australia versus South Africa at Colombo. India versus Pakistan at Colombo, and then the first match would be Australia versus South Africa in Colombo, and what a match that is going to be. So well, so we have two real crunchers coming in, and I'm sure we would all be glued to the TV sets to watch that particular match. And yes, once I watch it, I will be definitely with you all to give you a summary or whatever you say. I'll be there in this Cricket Happening show to cover both the matches. So that's it from me, your host Ram, for the cricket show for today. This is your host Ram saying goodbye. Thank you.